Welcome to Split Desktop version 3.0. The Split Desktop software creates size distribution curves from your images of fragmented rock. This tutorial will go step by step to bring you from your digital image to outputting your size distribution results. Step 1. Opening images. There are a few ways to open images in Split Desktop. You can do Image, Open, and select from your images. You can also drag and drop images into Split Desktop. Finally, you can go to File, Open an Image, and again, get an image into Split Desktop. If you would like to delete an image from the project, highlight the image and select the Delete button. You will notice these images have an exclamation point next to them, indicating the status is not good to continue and create a size distribution curve. These images have no delineations and no scales. So we must continue with those steps before we can make our size distribution curves. Step 2. Delineate images. First, select the image that you want to delineate. What we want to do is have the software draw boundaries around all the individual particles. These are what we call delineations. Go to Image, Delineate, and you'll find a slider bar for less and more delineation. If you do not like the delineations, you can select Remove Delineations, and you can redelineate. The idea is we want to get the delineations as good as we can at this point before we do any manual editing. Step 3. Scale images. To scale your image, first grab the Scale tool. In your image, you can right-click on your mouse to toggle between the delineations and the image. This will help you view your scale object better. Click down on the mouse and draw a line across your object. Define the length of that line. I happen to know these are 10-inch plastic scale balls. You can work in whatever units you want to. Select OK. Grab the Scale tool again and scale the lower scale ball. If I was scaling a bunch of images all in a row, I could select this and I would have the Scale tool every time I went to my image. You see now I do not have the Scale tool, I'm back to having the Hand tool. If you want to redo your scale, the Select Scales tool will allow you to grab the scale. You can delete it. You can grab the scale and adjust it. You can also zoom in on your image if you want to get a better view of your scale object. You can use that button. You can also use the wheel on your mouse, and it might help you see the object better so you can scale it more accurately. Step 4. Edit delineations. All of the tools we would use to edit the image are along the toolbar up here. The eraser tool has varying widths and is used to erase areas where the particles were over delineated. The paintbrush again has different widths and is used to draw delineations where particles were under delineated. The fines fill will fill in areas of fines. The clear fill will help you correct mistakes. Since those areas really aren't fines, I'm going to turn them back to particles. And the mask fill can fill in areas like your scale ball that we don't want to measure. There's also tools up here that can take large areas and mask them or fill them with fines. For instance, I can select this tool and mask a shape all at once. Likewise, I can fill in areas of fines in my image a lot faster by selecting entire areas. If you don't like the editing you've done, you can undo the fines. Most of the time, you'll be either drawing delineations or erasing them. A handy tip: when you have the eraser and you want to draw a line, you can hold down the Shift key and the eraser will turn to a paintbrush. That should save time not having to go back and forth and selecting these all the time. Helpful when editing the particles is selecting this option that will show you the boundary of all the particles. This will help you determine whether you need to do editing or not. You'll also notice that now that we have scaled and started editing our picture, the status has changed to our picture. As far as the software is concerned, this picture is okay to be used in creating size distribution curve now. It is up to the user to determine if the edits in the delineations are sufficient or not. For the sake of this demonstration, we will not correct every delineation or completely edit this image, but just show you the tools that are used for when you edit your images. Step 5. Estimate fines. In every image, there is most likely material that is too small to be seen or measured. This fine material is obscured by the coarse material on the surface or is just too small to be measured. The software will measure down to a certain point to create the size distribution curve. Below that point, it will estimate for the fines. Each image, as a part of its properties, has a fines factor associated with it. Depending on the quantity of fines that we believe are in the sample, we can adjust it. The default setting is 50. This setting should be used systematically, image to image and sample to sample, because changing this setting certainly changes the size distribution curve. You can use this setting if you have known calibration data. For instance, you have actually sieved the material in the image. You can use this factor to shift the curve and try to match the sieve. Normally, this data is not available for large samples such as muck piles. Therefore, we use the default setting of medium or 50% for most of our samples. Step 6. Output results. Once the image status is sufficient to be used in results, the image has been scaled and the image delineations have been edited, you can create a size distribution graph. Highlight the image, select the Show Results button, and a graph and text data will automatically be created. There are many options for how you want to view the data as far as the graph, colors, legend, text, sieve series, percent passings. You can even put a reference curve to compare your target curve against what was actually measured in your sample. This information can also be obtained this way. All of the data you have just created can be brought out of Split Desktop as well. This is just text data that can be copied. In addition, all of the text data in this graph can be exported right into Excel, assuming you have Excel installed in your computer. These exporting and copy and paste features are disabled on the demo version of Split Desktop. Now that we have completed all of our work creating our size distribution curves, we would want to go back and save our project file. Project files in Split Desktop are saved with the .desk extension and will include all of the images, all of the delineations, all of the scales, any organization we have done down here. It's all saved in one file. Automate tasks. So now we have gone from inputting our digital images of fragmented rock to creating a size distribution curve. Some of the new features in Split Desktop version 3.0 allow for automation of some tasks and for better organization of your images. This window here is the layout window. This allows us to create samples of all the individual images that we have input into our project. You can right-click on Project, name a new sample, and then from your Images window, you can drag images down to create your different samples. Usually we have numerous images we've imported into our project, and down here we can organize them into separate samples. You can click on the node of each sample you create to create the graph for that sample. In addition, Split Desktop allows you to automate some of the repetitive tasks that need to be performed image by image. When we first add images to our project, we can automatically delineate them using the delineation settings we've previously showed, and we can automatically find the scale for the images we are adding, so long as we predefine the diameter of the scaling object, know the color, and perhaps set some other advanced settings. We can train the software to look for the scale object and then assign a size to it. This will save time if over and over we're adding similar images to our project. So we drag the image in. The image will automatically be scaled and delineated. In addition, the mask has been put over the scale balls, and now you're ready to just start editing the image. This now concludes the tutorial for Split Desktop version 3.0. We've been through the basic steps to get you from importing your images to scaling, delineating, and outputting results. There's a complete help file with all the topics covered, including a quick start guide that goes through all these basic steps. We hope you enjoy Split Desktop.